We are studying through the book of Matthew, and in particularly, we are studying through the Great Commission. We are in really what's called as the 1/2 step of the Bible study method, where in the first part is that we had posed some questions and we are now answering those questions. One of our questions: is there a mountain motif in the book of Matthew? So, does Matthew seem to put a significance on mountains? Would be another question on why he does. And I'll talk a little bit on why from the Jewish perspective and a lot of other reasons. But yes, so 7 times with our text are mountains mentioned. Now, I do want to talk because some people get a little too much into numerology. I don't get into it. It's there. It's very there, but I don't think that we should look into, oh, this is a seven, this is a three. Um, if it's a seven, it's great. It's the number of perfection. So don't try to look too much into numbers. Um, I'm not for sure that a Jew would. So I'm not for sure if the original audience would have been very keen on all the types of non-numbers. But um, that the noticing of the numbers is often an after the fact. So once we realize, oh yeah, this is seven, this is number of perfection. So with our text, it would have been 7 different times that mountains are mentioned. It's first mentioned in Matthew chapter 4, verse 8, and I'm going to read all these passages. In verse 8 it says, "Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory." So he takes him to a mountain. It's interesting. The place, a mountain, and we don't know specifically on what mountain, if it's the same one that they're going to, but a mountain is where he was first tempted, and then a mountain again is where that he is glorified, where he now displays his victory over sin and death. Just a point. It's also mentioned in Matthew 14:23. So Matthew 14:23 says this. Um, and after he had dismissed the crowds, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. So this is a situation where Jesus, he goes to a mountain to pray, and then he walks on water. Next, Matthew 15:29. Matthew 15:29, where it says this. Um, Jesus went on from there and walked beside the Sea of Galilee, and he went up on the mountain and sat down there. So once again, this mountain motif. Mountains are significant. Uh, Now, of course, you've got Matthew 17:1, 17:1, yeah. So, and we know that is the transfiguration. And after 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter and James and John his brother, and led them up on a high mountain by themselves. I had mentioned that this is Mount Tabor. Now it's used up again in Matthew 24:3. In Matthew 24:3, um, As he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us when will." So here's another situation. Now here he's in the Mount Olives, and this could be the reason why some scholars do put this out um, as an option. He says it again in Matthew 26:30. In Matthew 26:30, it says this. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives, and then uh, Jesus said to them, he's going to talk about how they're all going to fall away. Lastly, in Matthew 28, where it says this, and this is the last place that mountains are mentioned. So, and he comes here and to the mountain to which Jesus had directed them. So, mountains are a motif. Well, why? Um, Mountains in particular is where God speaks. We think of Mount Sinai. Um, Also, that the Garden of Eden, it wasn't down below, but it was on a mountain. God speaks at mountains. God speaks hugely on mountains. Also, that that they that they believe that if you were on a mountain, then that meant that you were closer to God as well. So all these factors are coming into play and for a Jew, mountains are significant. Mount Sinai, God, whenever God seems to speak, he speaks at mountains. So there is a mountain motif, and a mountain motif. Matthew is writing to Jews. They would have understood the mountain motif, and and this idea that now that on this last mountain where Jesus is glorified, and they see the glorified body of Jesus Christ. And he gives their command, and he gives the command to the disciples to make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And the imagery here that they're on a mountain and they're going down to the world. So almost like they are an army uh, marching forth towards the world, kicking down the gates of hell and rescuing people from the grips of Satan. I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.